Welcome, everybody. We're so excited that you're here. We'd love to hear where you're from. If you want to put in how long you've been in Lifebook, we'd love for you to start asking some questions or start thinking about some questions. We're going to have some time at the end for you to put in your questions. We'd love to have you come on through the video, or if you would like just us to ask them to Anna at the end, there's that as well. So we just wanted to share a little bit why we decided to do this workshop. Becky, Daniela, and I are Lifebook leaders, and we've been hearing a lot from people about their strategies and questions and wondering why things aren't working or coming against certain aspects or certain categories that they're really struggling with or having trouble really moving past. So we thought it would be an amazing idea. We've all been working with Anna, recoding our beliefs, understanding the changes that have happened for us. And we would love for people just to be able to hear that shift with the conscious and the subconscious. So we're going to explore that today, talk about what we've been going through. We'll ask Anna lots of questions, and we'll give you plenty of time to ask your questions to her as well. We're going to start with a brief video just to kind of introduce you to Anna Berger. She's the CEO of Quantum Mind Academy, and this short video will give you a little bit of an insight into where she's come from and what she's doing. Great. So without further ado, we are going to welcome Anna Berger onto this workshop. Anna, please
hey, so great to see everybody here. I've just been really looking forward to this because I've been speaking to Joyce, Becky, and Daniela, and they've been telling me about this wonderful group. I'm also part of Lifebook, so yeah, really looking forward to this.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are so grateful for the work you've been doing, how much you've affected our lives, and we're so excited for you to share it with other people here. Can you just begin by kind of telling us a little bit about what you do and really how you came to start working with recoding the brain, the subconscious?
Yeah, so where do I start and how much time do we have? Subconscious mind is just such a powerful instrument that if we know how to use, can be just, I mean, our life can be absolutely revolutionized. Unfortunately, what a lot of people don't know is we've got this massive computer in our mind, and it's a self-learning computer that we received when we first arrived on planet Earth. You get this beautiful soul gets put in a body, and we do have a self-learning computer. So from day one, it gets coded. It gets coded without our knowledge whatsoever. It literally, the first 7 years of your life were on hypnosis levels. So before you even start creating your conscious mind. So, we, as adults later on, we go into designing this beautiful life that we want to live. And, and Lifebook, I just love it because it really, you put a lot of thought into where it is that you want to go and what it is that you want to achieve. However, knowing what I know about the actual coding, I can see the struggles that people are going through. The thing is, if the original coding that we got in our subconscious mind, and that is, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of limiting beliefs, and people talk about, all these different self-sabotage and things like that. Now, if I could give you just I guess a metaphor of what subconscious mind is. If you've ever been on a website, okay, and you're looking at beautiful pictures and words and pop-ups and all these things, this is what you see on the outside, okay, which means if you're looking at a human being, you're looking at the character, okay. It's like the front of a website. But what actually makes everybody do certain things is the code that's right at the back. So if you've ever been at the back of a website, I mean, I remember first time that I ever went on the back end of a website, it was like, whoa, dude, that's like gibberish. No way you can understand. So every single font, every single picture has this massive code. And this is what, what actually drives everything that you see in the front. Your subconscious mind is identical. It got coded right at the beginning. So there's lots of codes that went in, and these are just simply, like whatever I call them tribes. So if you're, growing up with your immediate family, your cousins, people that were in your life, every time there was somebody that actually said something, there was a belief, and your computer goes, oh, I didn't know that. I'm going to code this. Okay, and it took everything literally. So, if you've ever watched the movie The Big Bang Theory, you've got Sheldon, who's like very literal. That is what your subconscious mind is like. It doesn't question at the beginning. It doesn't have anything. It just assumes that it knows nothing, and it needs to code to help you survive. So any beliefs that people have had around you, and they would dump it into, without knowledge, they would literally transfer it into your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind has created a blueprint for you to help you survive. Now, this computer program would have been it is the most amazing thing the universe has ever created. There's only two problems. One, we never got a manual on how to use this thing. And two, the assumption that it was building the program on was that everything that you started with was perfection. And it's just simply going to replicate it for you so you can live a perfect life. Now, we all know, probably 99% of people that I ever come across, the life that they grew up with was not necessarily perfect, okay? And I'm not talking about, obviously I've worked with doctors that work with people that have traumas and things like that. I'm not necessarily talking about those big traumas, because those ones will definitely have an effect on your life. Okay, but I'm talking about those traumas with little t. Okay, these are the things that subconscious mind absolutely craved love right at the beginning, because love meant survival. Okay, if somebody doesn't love you, or your parent doesn't love you, they will probably dump you on the street and not feed you, and you die. Okay, that is the subconscious mind's assumption. So it constantly craves love. Now, if the person or people that were around you were very emotionally available and were very loving, fantastic. You grew up to be a fantastic human being. You've got great emotional intelligence. Then you're pretty wealthy. You're you're very confident. You can do whatever it is that you want to do, and you create a beautiful vision for yourself through Lifebook. Perfect. You just go and implement it, and it works. Okay. Now, but here lies the problem. The initial 7 years, there is a chance that you've come across things that were actually put into your subconscious mind of which you had no knowledge whatsoever. And these are the things that are tripping you over right now. And this is what we're going to talk about today, is how that actually affects the strategies that you put in, the beautiful vision that you want to achieve, and how the subconscious mind is literally like an elastic band. That you want to achieve something, but if it's coded differently, it's just, you will literally just go run until you burn out. and your subconscious mind goes, no, you don't belong there. Becky, you had a question?
Yeah, and exactly what you're saying leads perfectly into our first question, which is, when I started your program, one of my biggest realizations was that the codings that were created when we were children could be impacting us today, and stopping us from taking actions on our goals and strategies. So how does what happened back then when we were children prevent us from taking action on them today?
Yeah, look, great question. And I think I'll probably rephrase it a little bit. You said that it could affect what you're doing today. It's not could, it absolutely does, 100%. Okay, so it's the subconscious mind is so powerful. Subconscious mind is a million times more powerful than your conscious mind. Okay, so your conscious mind goes to a seminar and goes, wow, I'm going to start a new business. Fantastic. Okay, and it comes up with strategies. This is how I'm going to do it. It's got all these check boxes, and your subconscious mind goes, that is not safe. Okay, I heard 30 years ago somebody told me that wealthy people, let's say for example, if it's to do with business, that let's say wealthy people are greedy. Okay, now if you're greedy, you're not going to belong to the tribe. They're going to kick you out because they're not going to like you. Okay, and if they don't like you, it's a danger, like it literally comes up with a danger signs. Okay, so your subconscious mind will create millions of different illusions to actually stop you from achieving it. So let's say, for example, if we are talking about creating your business, great, you might have fantastic ideas, very determined, but it will be tripping you over constantly. You'll be going, hey, you don't know enough. Why don't you learn something else? Why don't you do this? That's another course you have to do. You're not good enough. Remember, you're not good enough. You're going to trip, and it's going to come up with all these different whispers, which usually happen in our heads, that will be tripping you over. So, and the amount of illusions that it can create, what we normally think, well, something happened, I tripped over and I twisted my ankle. None of it is an incident. Okay, none of it's an accident. Things happen for a reason. Anything to do with your health. Your subconscious mind controls 3.7 trillion cells in your body, okay? And they are controlled by your thoughts, okay? Because your conscious mind is the only one that can actually control subconscious mind. And this is where it gets really cool, because even though this might not be as powerful as your subconscious mind, it can control it and can change it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
So Anna, I was just thinking as you were explaining that, something like how I was experiencing being a perfectionist. A lot of times I felt like I had to be perfect. And so I was very critical and judgmental of myself. And then I would be critical of other people if they didn't do it perfectly, or if they didn't do it to the level I thought they should. So how is something like perfectionism, how does that come across with the anchor beliefs or the coding? Is that something that we've learned to do because of those safety rules that have kind of been put into our subconscious?
100%. Perfectionism is probably the best illusion for the subconscious mind, and it will trip you over every single. I have people that cannot learn something because of spelling mistake or something else that they pick up and they go, oh, see, that doesn't work, that won't work for you. That's your subconscious mind going, we're not going to go there. So perfectionism happen, obviously, that usually happens when you grow up with parents who have very high standards. And lovingly they try to encourage you, come on, good grades, fantastic. Okay, so your subconscious mind codes, for me to get love, I need to get good grades. Okay, so it strives very hard. Now, if, let's say, for example, I grew up in a household where my mom was so strict with, because she was very well known, so she needed me to be an example. Okay, so she could brag about it to her friends, I guess. But I would get 100% on my test, come home, and my mum, and I'll be like, look, I got 100%. And my mum would turn around and say, I wouldn't expect anything less. Now, you tell me, when a child gets told something like this, the coding that will go in is, okay, we have to aim for at least 100%. Well, that's the highest you can get. But guess what? That's not even good enough. Okay, that is a benchmark. So how often would a child like this come across the thought of, shit, I'm not good enough? It's you get 99%. Perfect example, guys. If anyone watched the Olympics, a Japanese, I can't really think right now of what sport he was in, a Japanese fella got a silver medal. Okay, now he did a speech to people, and everybody was like, yeah, silver medal. He actually apologized that he let them down because he didn't get gold medal. He was the second best person in the world, yet he wasn't good enough. Okay, now this is what we're dealing with. Anything that's, even things like competitive sports. Okay, I mean, I'm a parent. I've got 2 teenage girls, and I encourage them to get into sports. And a lot of these things that I'm talking about right now, my kids are teenagers. I didn't know when they were kids. Like when I was learning this thing, I'm like, oh my God, what have I done with my kids? Luckily, it's reversible. So, but yeah, absolutely. So perfectionism is probably the biggest killer of progress. Okay, because if let's say, you want to, let's say again, start a new business. This works with every single thing that you want to do in life, but let's say you want to start a new business, your subconscious mind will go, okay, it's going to be dangerous. It's out of comfort zone. Okay. You're probably not going to be good enough. Even if you become rich, it's probably not going to be good for you. Okay. So I'm going to do anything. It's like a protective parent. It's like, I'm going to do anything to protect you. Okay. Don't go, don't do this. Okay. So how about I'll give you this idea to create a business card. It's going to be so beautiful. You can spend like 6 months designing it. And if you've got your business card, how about a website? Okay, let's just design the most beautiful website. Okay, you're going to get stuck designing for the next 2 years. If anyone here wanted to write a book, perfectionists, great. You're probably going to be writing it for the next 20 years. Okay, unless you decode or recode this perfectionism on your subconscious mind, because progress is what actually gets you there. Okay, perfectionism, it's what stops it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I was just curious too. So once we start, like sometimes I would get going with something and just say, okay, I'm going to do it. So I felt like my conscious mind was saying, yes, I'm moving forward, and I would make this progress and I would achieve some level of success, but then I'd hit a ceiling. Something would stop me, and I feel like I would just, take 3 steps back. What happens with that lack of progress? What's stopping me? What's that glass ceiling about?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. Look, I've probably worked for the last 10 years with a lot of big businesses. They want to expand. They've already expanded quite a bit. They're quite wealthy, but they do hit this ceiling, and they call me and go, what am I doing wrong with this business? Okay, it's usually 99%. It's not the business; it's the psychology of the owner, and what it is just it doesn't align with the values that are and the coding that's in the subconscious mind. So if there is some codes that will actually stop it, it's literally like, if you can just think of it as a massive elastic band, okay, and you'll be traveling this direction, and your subconscious mind goes, we're getting into danger zone. It starts pulling you back. Okay, so it's almost like, you're trying to, and those people who, have some kind of success, and it came like it was really, really hard work. Okay, when you're feeling that it's hard work, okay, it's because you're working against this elastic band. Okay, and you're working against it. Now, I was in the past, I've built a $250 million business working against this. Okay, so it's like, it was such a hard work. It feels like it's, the world against you. And what I didn't realize is it can be done easier. There's just such an easier way when you actually get in the flow. Okay, and when you get in the flow, just things happen naturally and happen easy. So whatever you feel that there is something is happening hard, or there's constantly something that's self-sabotaging the success that you're looking for, whether it's relationship. Let's not even start talking relationships, because this is where it's very, very visible. Things like yo-yo diets, just anything that you want to achieve. If your subconscious mind is not on board, guess what? It ain't going to happen. Okay. You might do it for a little while. I did my business for 15 years before it came crashing down. And what it was is you're just simply working so hard, so determined, and then something happens, and it will. So let's say, for example, if it's fitness related, if your subconscious mind is not on board and thinks that's unsafe, and you're really determined, you just gone on one of those 12-week challenges, and it's like, I'm going to do it. Okay, what happens when you finish? Often. There it goes again. Okay, same same thing, people win lotteries. How often does that last? Why? It's subconscious coding. Does that answer your question? Go on.
Are there any, we talked about the perfectionist, and are there any signs that are, that we would be able to tell, like that this is working against us? Like, are there signs that we could tell that our limiting beliefs are preventing us from taking action?
Yes, absolutely. You would know consciously, if you really get in tune to your body, you would know that if there is constantly, the best thing is procrastination. Okay, if you're starting to procrastinate on something, that's your subconscious mind playing tricks. If, let's say, for example, you want to do something and suddenly something happens and it's really important and really urgent, but it wasn't in line with what it is that you said, okay, that's subconscious mind just sending you a different direction. And it just sends you different rabbit holes. It's like, oh, look at that. It could be a shiny object. Like, there's another seminar that's interesting to watch, or there's something else that you need. That's another degree that you need. It could be, oh, there's another book. Now, let me tell you, if you have more than 5 self-help books on your shelf and you haven't achieved everything that the book has said that you should achieve, it's your subconscious mind. Okay, it's got nothing to do with you not trying. And this is where, I find this really heartbreaking. Watching people getting so excited about doing things, and then, you just simply watch them and you just go, okay, you're running, and then it just goes a little bit harder. Like, let's say I've chosen the habits that I want to implement, and then, this habit goes and that habit goes, and something happens and I get really busy and I forget about this. That's your subconscious mind. It's got nothing to do with you not trying. And this is, people just really beat themselves up, saying that, well, I failed. And the thing is, this is where, personal development courses, they have the best intention in the world, but they mess with your subconscious mind big time, okay? Because if it's against your subconscious mind, you're going to go on this track. Let's say you're going to, that's what I've learned, that's what I'm going to do. And you're going to run, and then you fail down and you fail. And your subconscious mind goes, now you come back here. Now, what's going to happen to your conscious mind? It's going to go, you're a failure. Okay. And you're going to get through a stage where you're going to start hating yourself, thinking that you're failing because you're not, it's so easy for everybody else. Look, 10 steps to success or 7 steps to success. They did it. How come I can't do it? Okay. Because I'm a failure. No, it's your subconscious mind that's playing tricks on you. Okay. And it's just, you just code it differently. And that is 1,000,000 times more powerful than your conscious mind. So it's literally like the power. This is like a conscious mind is like a bicycle. Okay. Subconscious is like a bullet train. Okay. So the bullet train will stand there while you have on an elastic band, you get a bicycle going this direction until the subconscious mind goes, nah, and goes different direction. And you got no hope because it's just going to bring you straight back to status quo, safety zone.
So Anna, with there's several programs that really focus on working on the conscious mind, and they do constant spaced repetition, and you're saying things over to yourself in the mirror, and you're saying affirmation after affirmation, and they're usually on, one topic, and then you switch to another topic, or you're listening to somebody else say something about a subconscious change. What are the difference of those programs versus what you're doing?
Yeah, look, it's a great question. There's actually 2 questions in there, because most of the things that you're learning, probably 95, maybe 98% of all the courses out there are conscious based. Okay, so you're just getting more knowledge and you get more motivation to go and do it. So get yourself ready for the next race. Okay, it doesn't work with your subconscious mind. It just simply, subconscious mind sitting there going, all right, go for another run. So that's just on conscious level, right? Now, you mentioned, talking to yourself and, being able to bring that into subconscious mind. Repetition works occasionally. Okay, now, let's say, for example, you're standing in front of a mirror and you're saying the same thing over and over and over again. Your subconscious mind sort of looks, and just think of it, I I try to compare conscious mind as the king or the queen of the universe, of this universe. And subconscious mind is your, it's like a general that's going to, direct your whole body and direct all your thoughts and actions. Okay, so if your conscious mind constantly says something, okay, your subconscious mind will go, okay, well, yeah, maybe I'll listen. Okay, but then there is 10 or 15 other codes that are, it's like handbrakes, handbrake, handbrake, handbrake. So wherever you go, you just constantly have handbrakes. So just doing it one by one, like when we do recoding, I mean, you girls would know, when you actually go through the recoding process, we find not just one belief, two beliefs, three, we find hundreds. Okay, now if you don't pick them all up, all you're going to be doing is just dealing with handbrakes constantly. Yes, you're going to amuse yourself with another course and another course, and you're going to, create beautiful visions. But unless that gets recoded and changed to the way that it needs to be to actually supplement what it is that you're learning or what it is that you want to achieve, then, it will be either extremely hard work and you constantly will have to watch what are you doing, or you can just simply get your subconscious on board and the subconscious will do it for you. Obviously, you still have to take action, and it's not a matter of like with The Secret, where you just go, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy, and you do nothing. Okay, ain't gonna happen. You still have to take action. Okay, but so the repetition works if there is no too many handbrakes. Okay, if let's say, for example, you're a perfectionist. And it's like you've got this I'm not good enough code, or I'm not worthy, or any of those. Okay, doesn't matter how much you say, that could be the code of not worthy. You can have about 15 different ones. Okay, so you might go past one, but you're still going to get some of that. So you might get this, a little bit of success and self-sabotage, success, self-sabotage. So that's sort of when you're dealing on, the repetition. I think is that Anthony Robbins that talks about incantations, where you're actually repeating them, and it's like, really, using your body and just pushing it in. Okay, that works a little bit faster. Okay, but it's still conscious level. The way that we do it is we do it through self-hypnosis, and we do it exactly the same way that it got in. Okay, so first what you do is just really go and analyze the heck out of it and find out exactly what the codes are, and then you change them. Now you mentioned about somebody else's voice. Okay, you can go into hypnotherapist and you can get, a lot of the times if you go and have a session, it's usually, let's say, for example, I'm having trouble with, I don't know, diet, for example. Okay, and the hypnotherapist or hypnotherapist addresses that particular issue. That's all great, but there is, like I said, there is usually a whole bunch of different underlying handbrakes that you have in there that will that can potentially bring the whole thing back again to where it was. So that's one thing. Secondly, what I find extremely powerful is using your own voice when you're doing hypnosis. Okay, now especially there's a lot of people that you can buy off-the-shelf products, and yes, they do work occasionally if you're addressing the right handbrakes that you have. But subconscious mind, there's like trillions and trillions of neural pathways to actually find something that's right for you. You can get a lot of generic ones that will address confidence, that will address health. But if you don't make them specific, there's potentially, potential of not picking up quite a few of those handbrakes, which means you might be a little bit easier for you to achieve something, but not in the flow. Okay, so using your own voice actually bypasses this little character in your head. Okay, because when you, let's say, for example, if somebody says to you, you're wealthy, okay? This little character in your head goes, what the hell do you know? Okay, now you can try saying it to yourself, okay, when you're consciously awake, and this character will be arguing with you all the time. Okay, now if you get somebody else to try put that in, okay, not only are you going to be arguing with yourself, but you're going to be, who's this? What do they know? I had and how I actually discovered this, that it actually bypasses your conscious mind when you use your own voice is, First when I came across hypnosis, my little girl was struggling at school with exams, anxieties from exams. And I remember speaking to a psychologist, a friend of mine, and I said, look, what do I do? And she goes, you know what, I noticed meditation really helped my kids. So I said, great, give it to me. And there's a couch here at the back, and I laid my little girl there, and I said, okay, before you go to school, just listen to this, okay? And I was sitting here on my chair listening, and this person was going on about, okay, I understand that it's very hard to do exams. And she was going on, and I'm like, this is real. I don't know if this is going the right way, because I didn't get a chance to actually listen to it before I had to listen. Halfway through, she got out and she said, what are you doing to me? She said, I'm even more stressed right now. And she slammed the door, out she went. And I thought, this was just such a big mistake, because it wasn't relevant to what she was going through. And like in the future, when I actually tried to find the right one for her, she was very skeptical. It's like, no, I want to know what this person's saying. I'm not going to go into hypnosis. And I became extremely skeptical as well. So this is where I found that by designing your own that's specific for you, that deals with any issues that you are dealing with, it can really literally change like that. And using your own voice, this little character, after a while, first time it hears it goes, who's this? Am I listening to myself? But second time you listen to it, it's like, oh, it's just me. That's okay. I can go to sleep. Easy. It's super, super easy, because you're using your own voice and it recognizes it.
So when you listen to the recoding, and when you've really figured out some of those anchor beliefs that have kind of held you back, does then the conscious, can you explain how the conscious and the subconscious, do they kind of come together at that point? And how does the process go from there once you're starting to listen to the recoding?
The recoding itself works extremely fast. Okay, the only thing is your conscious mind is still not used to it. Okay, so what it how I'm sure you've all heard the story about elephants. When they tie them up, like a grown-up elephant can break this so easily. Okay, but they are conditioned in childhood. Okay, so when they're little, they put that rope on them, or chain, whatever it is that they put on them. It will try a couple of times, few times, and then gives up. Okay, so when you actually get recoding, your conscious mind still is not sure, has it actually worked, has it not, until you try it. Okay, so you actually go, and this is why the action is super important. When the recoding happens, again, if I don't want to confuse you with too many metaphors, but I use metaphors because they really speak straight to your subconscious mind. It's literally like turning a big boat, like you put a different GPS set, and it just turns the boat around. Right at the beginning, there's a little bit of waves, because it's like you're dealing with things that you haven't dealt with before. But then once it actually turns around, it just goes exactly where you want it to go. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that's perfect. That's really helpful.
I love that analogy. It makes perfect sense. Is it possible that the strategies that we're trying to implement are not right for us? And we're implementing the wrong ones? And how do we know if we're going against what we're really meant to do, or if it's an anchor that needs to be recoded?
Yeah. All right. So that's a deep question. Thank you, Becky. What I find is anyone that actually has studied with me, especially if they have done Lifebook before, what they will learn when they actually start analyzing their childhood, they will find that a lot of things that they do right now is simply to either prove or disprove somebody in the past. Okay, so all this, so it's subconscious mind by dealing with everything that it was dealing with. It's like, let's say, for example, if you grew up in a in a family where, let's say, boys don't cry or toughen up, something like that, where there is that kind of attitude, it literally switches off emotions. Okay, so it's it will go, okay, well, we're not allowed to cry, or we're not allowed to speak up. That's why so many people have problem with public speaking, because it got disconnected. It's like, no, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to be seen. Okay. So don't you, even have a look in here. We've got quite a few people that don't even put the camera on. Okay. And it's by design. It's just simply, that's how the subconscious mind got coded. It's like, there's certain things I'm comfortable, certain things I'm not comfortable with. So remind me, Becky, I just want to make sure that I answer your question properly. Just remind me about the question.
Yeah. How do we know if the strategies that we're putting in place are the right ones for us, or if it's like because it's in line with our true purpose and it's just the wrong strategy, or if it's like an anchor that needs to be recoded that we're just resisting?
Okay. So yeah, there's two different ways of doing it. One, you can just go, okay, yes, I'm trying to achieve these. Let me just remove this anchor, this limiting belief or few limiting beliefs, and I can go and achieve this. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. The way that we do it, we actually go much, much further than this. Okay, we analyze the whole character, how it was established, and find out whether what you truly desire, like what you truly soul craves, is what it is that you've written down. Okay, and what I find often is that the way that the character was designed was simply to fit in within the tribe. And because we're dealing with this blueprint, all we're doing right now is expanding on that blueprint. Okay, I need to buy X amount of properties so I can show my father that I'm worthy. Okay, or I've got to, be very, very good at this so I can prove my mum about something else. Okay, and if you really analyze it, you will find that there's just so many goals that we set up because that's what we believe society requires us to be successful. Okay, all of that is rubbish. Okay, you need to go back and go, okay, what is it that I truly want? Okay, not based on the coded matrix, and matrix is simply that program, that's restricting program, right? So not based on this. It's like, okay, like with the recoding, what we do, again, if I can use a different analogy, it's like taking sticky notes, like a whole bunch of those post-it notes, and it's like, I'm a perfectionist, I'm this, I'm that, and we go through life collecting all of these, or we collect so many of that when we try to set up our goals for next year, for example, we utilize all these as a way that we want to move forward. So it's like, if this tells me that I'm a perfectionist, how do I become more perfect? If this tells me that I'm such and such, how do I become more like this? Okay, no, what you need to do is go back, take a few steps back, take all these sticky notes off. Okay, have a look at them and say, do I really want to be a perfectionist? Does that help me? No, I'm going to put this here. Okay, does this help me to be a people pleaser, or should I have a little bit better boundaries? Okay, no, I don't like this. Okay, do I want to be confident? Yes, that's a good one. I'm going to keep this one. Okay, and you literally go for every single thing. You just analyze it and go, what do I keep? What do I not keep? Okay, and then those ones that you don't keep, you actually change them into positives. Okay, so you go from this, okay, do I want to be a perfectionist? No, I just want to make progress. I want to be able to, to really believe that I don't need to be perfect to start with. I don't need all green lights before I start driving. Okay, I just need to keep driving. I need to be in progress mode. Okay, so this is not helpful. So I'm going to throw that out. I'm going to change it into being pro-progress. And you just simply reshuffle the whole thing. You're literally creating a new character for yourself. Like for anyone that has read my book, it's, some people might even think it's a little bit almost science fiction, but it's like, I really believe that the way that the mind has been coded, every single person's mind is different, every single one of them. Okay, so if you're looking for a soulmate that's identical like you, good luck. It ain't gonna happen, because there's no two people in the world that are identical. Okay, because everybody has gone through all these different experiences. So it's impossible. It's mathematically impossible. So the whole idea is to really analyze your own character and say, okay, if I want to achieve goals like this, and before you even start designing goals, it's like, what type of person do I want to be? Okay, what are the sticky notes that I've collected that I don't want anymore, and I'd like to recode it. And then once you have that, you'll find that the real purpose in life, okay, it's actually much, much simpler than you think it is. Okay, and you know, part of the training that we do with our masterminds is to really dig into what is it that your soul really craves. Okay, your purpose in life is not what you find on the outside. It's not your next job. It's not your next relationship. It's not your next business that you're going to create. Okay, it's actually much, much simpler. We call it, we probably don't have too much time to go into it, but there's 5 soulful goals that your soul craves. First one, do you want me to go over them?
That'd be great. Why don't you share that with us?
Sorry, I don't want to be so I can talk for like weeks about this, so please stop me if you want to ask questions. But you know, what does your soul crave? There are 5 things. Okay, 1, it absolutely wants to be in the best vehicle possible. Okay, when I say vehicle, I mean body. Okay, so because it's in, you know, your soul is inside, right? So it needs to be in something that's going to have longevity, that's going to last long term and be healthy. Okay, so it's the health, the mental health. Okay, if you think of a vehicle, okay, you don't want to be driving a car that's got all these flashing lights constantly and distracting you, right? You don't want to have a mind that's going to be going, oh, I'm stressed about this, I'm stressed about that, or what if this happens? You don't want that. Okay, you want to have nice, comfortable ride throughout your life. Okay, so and also the environment that you're in. You know, a lot of people don't realize how the environment that you're in really impacts your subconscious mind. Okay, your television that's switched on next door in another room, okay, everything that it says right now filters through. Your subconscious mind can hear stuff that you can't even hear consciously. Okay, just being really conscious of the pollution that's around you and how to protect yourself from it. Okay, so that's number 1. So your soul just craves just, you know, being healthy and just, you know, being happy, joyful. You know, second, being in constant state of awe and just gratitude, just, you know, being really, really like absolutely loving itself. Okay, so, you know, it doesn't want to live in a body that's constantly, oh, I'm too fat, I'm too this. It doesn't want, you know, live with this tenant in here that keeps on talking negative stuff. So that's number 1. Secondly, you know, to do with the work that we do, you know, your soul craves to be helpful. And you know, and be rewarded for the work that it does. Okay, a lot of people have got such a negative spin on money. Money is just an energy, and it's such a beautiful energy. And being able to actually tap into it and realize that it's an exchange of energy when you you know, when you working with other people. And if you actually start treating your work as your, and it doesn't matter what you do, but as soon as you start treating your work as your spiritual path, something that, you know, things happen for a reason, and really be conscious of the fact that everything that comes into your vision, it's for a reason. Okay, it's called confirmation bias. We don't have time to go into it right now, but there is a reason why it's showing up, and you can change that. Okay, so that's you know, create a wealth creation, abundance, and being able to just, you know, live a really, really comfortable life. You know, thirdly, it craves relationships with, you know, connection with people, with humans, and adventure, and being creative, and just having fun. So, you know, being sort of, so you've got all this, you know, friendships, family, you know, good relationships with people in general. It craves intimacy, and, you know, I call it intimacy and ecstasy. You know, to have an incredible love life. And, you know, this is another one where, you know, depending how the matrix was set initially, it has such a huge impact on relationships. You know, if you've been through a few relationships and they haven't worked, there is a reason. Okay, it's all coded, and it's coded. Actually, your subconscious mind took screenshots right at the beginning of your parents and say that is what perfection looks like. Okay, and it's just bringing you back. So it's replicating that blueprint that can be changed. Okay, but, you know, being in a relationship where you can, you know, and however you choose a relationship or whatever it is, but it craves, you know, what intimacy is. By the way, it's not necessarily just sex. Intimacy is into me, I see. Okay, it's being able to be, you know, be vulnerable, being able to be authentic with somebody. Your soul craves that. And, you know, the last one is your soul craves to just grow, to learn more and implement, not just learn so you can put more stuff in your filing cabinet for later, to implement it, just be creative and be really crazily curious. And if you look at kids, look at kids before they turn 7, they ride unicorns. They to them, everything's all about play, about curiosity. That gets shut down as we grow older. Okay, so this whole program is all about just bringing it back to that stage, okay, and just discarding all the stuff that was dumped into our subconscious mind without our knowledge. Okay, it's almost like, when you have a iPhone or any phone, every few months it tells you update the operating system. Okay, phone. Now, this is nowhere near as powerful as this. How often do we upgrade these? We're still, those ones here who are, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, we've never had like a proper, upgrade of the operating system. We're still operating on Windows 1970, Windows 1980, if it existed. All it is just simply change the operating system, change the matrix, and then relook at your visions, relook at strategies. And if your subconscious mind is in line with it, it will help you. Now, you get this powerful computer on board with your ideas and you're unstoppable, okay? Because then you're putting the bicycle inside your bullet train and off you go. Everything works in a flow. It just becomes super easy.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Anna. That's really beautiful the way you explained it. Daniela, I know that we want to leave some time at the end for everybody else to ask questions. So you've been checking the chat for us. Do you have some questions? And is there anybody else who'd like to pop on and just ask their questions themselves?
I did check the chat box, but people are shy, apparently.
Eric's putting his hand up.
Yeah,
Hi,
although I
Eric.
encourage them to write the questions in the chat box, nobody has asked any questions. So probably
Daniela?
they would like to interact with you directly.
Daniela, yeah, Eric's got a question here. Go on.
Yeah, Eric, jump on. Becky,
There you go.
Thank
Please.
you.
Hi, Anna. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Eric.
I'm curious. I guess it would help me if I heard some personal experience. So I'm curious what you feel like, Anna, has been the major breakthrough for you personally. Some personal experiences. I feel like I could really understand more if I heard that. What made you kind of all in on this, however long it was ago for you, and what kind of solidified this for you as something really powerful? What are some of your personal growth experiences, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. Look, it's I'll try to keep it as short as possible because there's just so many of them, and I possibly would love to actually get even Daniela, Becky, and maybe Joyce share as well. But from my experience, how I even got into these was, I mentioned to you before that I used to run a really big business. Now, this business was in construction out of all businesses. At the age of 23, somebody told me that I could never become wealthy because, one, I was female, two, I didn't know anything about real estate, and three, I was way too young. Okay, I was 23 at the time. Now, to me, that was like a red flag for a bull. It's like, let me prove you wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so I spent 15 years proving that person wrong. Yes, I built a $250 million business. I was flying helicopters. It was just the best thing ever. Okay. But I did it. I started that business based on trying to prove somebody wrong, not because this is what I wanted to do. Okay, right. And even though I loved it, I loved getting into something like this, and I love being able to be the boss and just go, no, redesign this, redesign that, let's build a city. I loved it. Okay, but what I've really found was it was hard work. It was like I was so determined, and being a very stubborn person with a coding to be stubborn, it's like, no, I'm going to prove you wrong. It was just, I was working 16, 17 hours a day. My family suffered. I had young kids. Hardly ever saw them. My husband, I didn't even show up to our first wedding anniversary dinner because I forgot, because I had a meeting at work. It was just insane. It was like all about, I don't even know why I needed all this money. It was just simply, I wanted to prove that person wrong. I built a business that was 3 times as big as his, okay, just to prove him wrong. But, it got to the stage where it was just so hard. Like, my health was suffering, and it just got really hard. And I ended up attracting a financial business partner who, anyway, it's a long story, but he ended up wiping me out. So I ended up in Supreme Court, and it was just, it was really, really nasty. But, when I went from riding helicopter to literally crashing down to zero, and I had to pull my kids out of private schools going, I don't know what to do now. Like, I literally lost my identity. And it took probably a good 2 years for me to recover from that. But it really made me think, why the hell did this happen? Like, I was so successful. I was doing everything right. Where did I go wrong? And this is where I started learning. One of the things from personal development courses has taught me is that there's always a gift in something. Okay, it's whatever happens, it happened for a reason, and there is a gift. So I was looking at it going, where the heck is this gift? Like, it's like, how do I find a gift in this? And I ended up traveling for about 2 years. Just took the kids out of school and we travel, and what I found when I started talking to people, I was seeing this constantly. There's people saying, oh, I could never do what you do. And I'm like, but I started with zero. Like, yes, you could. So I kept on, encouraging people to just get out and do things, live their life. And, but there was this, and I started studying psychology, and I go, there is something behind it. There is something more to it than just determination. So that's how I came across all the, all this stuff about subconscious mind and how powerful it is, and just got absolutely obsessed about learning about this. But yeah, so there was like hundreds of examples. I mean, there is no way, one of the things that I grew up with is there's no way you would ever see me in front of a camera. In fact, photography is my hobby. Why? Because I can hide behind a camera. Okay, I would never be in front of it. Okay, and so being able to just decode that and go, nah, that's easy. To be able to step up and speak in public, to be able to, like when I first thought about writing a book, it only happened because I had a horse riding accident and I had 4 months on crutches, and I go, shit, what do I do now? So, and I go, oh, I've got all this knowledge and I'm seeing all these people struggling with this. Maybe I'll just write a book. And then, my little character in my head goes, what do you know about writing books? Okay. English is not even your first language. You can't probably even spell properly. It's not going to happen. And I'm like, hey, hold on a second. Recode it. Okay. And it's like, the next day I wake up and it's like, I don't care. I don't care about perfectionists. I don't care about this. Let me just start writing. And, the book just, I don't even know how it happened, but it was literally just, it's almost, when you set an intention that you want to do something and you just get your mind out of the way and just let it happen in the flow, it just happens. Like, I wrote this book and it just became a bestseller. It still blows my mind to think that, like, when the book first arrived and I was holding it in my hand and I'm like, I can't believe I just did that. Like, it was just, wow. So I could give you hundreds and hundreds of examples. Does that answer your question there, Eric?
Yeah, I guess I'm curious of like the most impactful one, if there is a most impactful one that like just kind of made the switch for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to be petrified of technology. There's no way I would even go anywhere near Zoom. It's like, I don't know how to do. Okay. And it's like, well, all I did was just recode, and it's like I'm a tech master, and just actually put in that belief, and that made a huge difference. Being able to do online courses, being able to deal with people, from all over the world, that made a huge difference.
Got you.
Public speaking definitely was a massive one. Yeah, I mean, there will be lots of different ones.
And we have another question.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Fiona, so please, if you can unmute yourself and ask Anna your question.
Can you hear me okay? Yeah?
Yeah, we do.
It was really about I feel very stuck. I can recognize, sorry, I'd just like to say I'm 55. I can recognize that there are so many blocks and beliefs and codings from my younger life, but I'm kind of at a place where I'm comfortable, and I find it very difficult, although having gone through Lifebook and looking at my life, I want to make changes. It's almost as though there's this extra sticking block. I just can't get past. I've tried Psyche, NLP, hypnotherapy. I'm just very stuck.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice how to
Yes.
unstick myself, really, I suppose?
Yeah, Fiona, that's a perfect question, and that's something that a lot of people deal with. Comfort zone is probably, that's not your friend. It certainly isn't your friend. A lot of people get stuck in comfort zone, and it's like, yeah, I'm comfortable, so I don't have to do anything. Okay, the fact is, we only have one life. Okay, and do you really want to get to your, when you're 90, if we're lucky enough to get to 90 years old, turn around and say, yeah, I tiptoed through life, I made it safely to death? You don't want to do that. Okay, you want to live your life to the fullest, like your soul truly deserves to just live to the max. By analyzing exactly what are the handbrakes, okay, what it is that, so I would definitely take a step back. Things like NLP, Psyche, and things like that, they're really great. Look, I use all of them, but they deal with one thing at a time, okay? We're talking 300 handbrakes, they might release one, okay? And there's 299 left that are holding you back. So really analyzing the actual character that the matrix has created, the actual subconscious mind has created for you, and saying, well, is this, see, the thing is, we might have this beautiful vision, but the thing is, if that character was capable of achieving this, it would have done it by now. Okay, it actually needs an upgrade to Fiona 2.0. Okay, where you actually step up to a different character, and then it just becomes natural. What you need to do is have a look at, yes, you can start from vision and sort of work your way backwards and see what sort of limiting beliefs you need to release to get you there. But I would really encourage you to actually take a few steps back and say, hold on a second, do I really like everything about everything that I have in my subconscious mind? Okay, do I like all these sticky notes? Okay, perhaps there might be some that I don't like. Okay, and by analyzing and disregarding those and changing them to what it is that you want, then, and really analyzing what your soulful goals are, like what your soul truly craves, and being able to sort of word it in a way that that it really feels right for you. That is your purpose in life. Your purpose in life is to live your life to the max. Okay, but to the max, not for anybody else, but for yourself. Okay, for your own soul. So really getting back to the basics, analyzing that, and then once you know this, then normally with goal setting, you're actually setting a goal and you go, okay, I'm here and I'm trying to reach this. Okay, so there is a gap. The way that we do it, we actually reverse the whole thing. It's like there is actually no gap. It's like everything that you need is within you. It's just underneath all these sticky notes. Okay, you just got to get rid of these sticky notes and you find that it's there. Okay, and then you just simply expand. Okay, expand on everything that's already there in place. Does that answer your question?
Yes, no, I kind of recognize that, but I suppose there's part of me that I think when you get to a certain age in life, and maybe it's just me, that you feel that life is comfortable. Do I really want to shake it up that much? And there's part of me that really wants to shake it up and say, actually, what have I been doing for the last 55 years? Has this really been me? And I suppose what I'm looking for is a starting point, and I really struggle to find that starting point to say, because everything, when you live life, I I would say probably from when you're 20 on automatic, because there's all these different things that are expected of you. So you're just living up to expectations, and then you reach a certain stage and you think, oh, that was kind of all automatic. I didn't really give much thought to that. And then you kind of reach this stage and you think, oh, but what is it I actually want? And it's trying to find that starting place that I'm really struggling with, I think, more than anything else.
Yeah, no, look, that's just to address your age group. Most of my clients are anywhere from 35 to 70 years old. So 55 is like perfect time to actually realize that, okay, you've tried things for 55 years and have they worked? You know, you're saying that sometimes you realize that things are on automatic. I can tell your subconscious mind runs about 95% of what you do. So pretty much everything is on automatic. Okay, we might not know that, but everything's on automatic. The way you show up in relationships, the way you show up at work, with any interaction with humans being, everything's on automatic. There's hardly any conscious involvement. Being able to design your life book vision, that's very conscious and that's really, really positive. Okay, but it also shows you the gap. It's like if you still have that matrix, that the restrictions, it's literally like trying to put your hand through a cage saying, I want this, I really want this. Okay, and you can't get out. Okay, and this is what that stuckness is. That's what, it feels that you're stuck because you want it, but you can't. Okay, remember the elastic band we're talking about? It's just simply lots of elastic bands attached. So, ideally what you would want to do, and I don't know if you girls want to mention about the, we actually do have training that really takes you back to the basics. It's called Mastermind and goes for 5 months. It's pretty intense because it really gets you, if you're not ready to dive deep into, taking a journey into yourself, then this is definitely not for you. But this is really goes through a whole analysis of how that matrix got coded, how do you, Eric also you asked me about just different things like relationships. Okay. That is, that was a huge, big change for me as well. So, things that show up in our life and how that actually affects the matrix. So being able to analyze it and go, okay, this is what I need to change, and actually go through the process of changing. Okay. And then you can sit back and say, what I really want out of life. Okay, and you'll find often that that the vision that you've created might slightly change. Okay, you might have a look at it and slightly change. I don't put a lot of emphasis on strategy, how things get done. I'm not saying that they're wrong. Look, I've run big businesses in the past, and strategies are also important. But I also know the power of intention. Of once you actually recode and you don't have those, like you're not running with a sofa bed stretched, on your back, you get rid of all this weight, and then you design something, then it's very, very intentional. The how to achieve it shows up in your life easily, extremely easily. But if, for example, if you think, okay, this is the way that I need to, and it has to be a certain way, okay, it's very restrictive. You're not really opening yourself to other possibilities of how things can arrive. If you look back in your life, everything that you've achieved, something that you were really determined to achieve, whether it's buying a house or starting a business, whatever you've achieved, you've initially set an intention, but I bet you that 99% happened not the way that you were planning it to happen. Okay, it just somehow ended up, and you ended up in exactly the spot that you were at. Okay, that's by design.
Thank you very much. Yes, that makes sense.
You're very welcome.
That makes sense.
Very welcome. Girls, do you want to maybe share, Daniela, perhaps, do you want to share, what was your experience? Perhaps before you start, or just let me tell you, like maybe just for 2 minutes, about the actual program. So it's a 5 months program. It's pretty intense. You get to work with me, like either myself or a coach, every single week. And they're very, very small group. So we've got about 20 people in each mastermind. This is the last one that I have for this year, starting on the 16th of October. So if anyone's interested, Daniela, can you perhaps maybe just throw a link into my Okay,
Yes.
so in a chat box, if you want to go into a chat box, there's a calendar link. For the next 3 days, I put some time aside. If you want to have a chat with me one-on-one and see how that actually can help you, come and say hello. Okay, it won't hurt. I don't bite, but I can definitely give you, send you in the right direction with, what else is there to learn and how to do it. So if you'd like to find out a little bit more about it, like I said, there's a few spots that are still left in my mastermind starting in October. That's the last one for this year. My mission is to recode 10,000 minds. I'm very determined to get this program with Mind Valley, if anyone's here in Mind Valley. So I know that once we start working with that platform, this is good. Like, my one-on-one is not going to be that available. But right now I still have, for the end of this year, I really work very closely with my groups, with my masterminds. And it's, these 3 girls here actually have started with me. So maybe, Daniela, do you want to mention what was your impact?
Well, yes, thank you for the opportunity. So I joined Lifebook last year in June, and I was at the point in my life where I felt really entangled with all the roles that I've taken on throughout my life, and felt really stuck. And Lifebook was an eye-opening experience for me at first, because it showed me that anything is possible, and it helped me create a vision. And then I started with a few strategies with sacred choices, and I would go off track from every once in a while, And then at the end of the year, there was this Star Strong challenge. John and Missy had that. And rewriting my life vision, I realized that there is something that I need to change in terms of my limiting beliefs. And once I put that down, it was only a matter of weeks that I came across your work and your first workshop that you gave here in the Lifebook community, and I decided to join that. And I was really puzzled by the fact that you mentioned in that workshop that you teach people how to fish. You don't give people fish. That's something that was extremely powerful for me, And I really wanted to see whether I was able to learn to fish. And it's been an incredible journey for me since then, going through the quest first and going back and analyzing my childhood and all the patterns that I've acquired back then really helped me understand the dynamics in my family and the limiting beliefs I acquired back then and how they have impacted my life. And then once I realized that, I really wanted to go even deeper. I joined the mastermind, and I was really blown away by everything you're doing there with us. And I could see immediate results. Anna likes analogies and metaphors, so if I'm allowed to use that, for me it was like living life in a foggy area, before coming across you and your work. And once I started recoding and I peeled away or peeled back those limiting beliefs, the fog lifted, and I'm in a much better place right now, having clarity, getting rid of that heaviness, and life is much brighter now. So
Thank you, Daniela. I think that if I could just add something to it, because one of the things, people are always very shy to talk about, like very personal stuff, and obviously I don't want to, I don't want to be, I want to leave it up to you. But and this is a conversation that we had, our last conversation, we talked about, feeling like you're just stuck in the fish net. In a net full of fish, and it's just like totally stuck. You want to do things, but you can't really do it now. And after a session, it's like a butterfly, and it's everything comes with ease. And the change that I have seen in you is just incredible. And Daniela's probably the perfect definition of a perfectionist and a people pleaser. And she will be running around doing everything for everybody. everybody would be taking advantage. And it's like, no, Daniela, let's just, rewire those boundaries and let's, what is it that you really want? So you're just going for some massive, massive changes, and I'm really proud of you.
Yeah, and I'm absolutely excited about that.
Fantastic. Becky, you want to share anything?
Sure. I mean, this program has been absolutely life-changing for me as well. Again, starting with Lifebook, which was such an amazing jumping off point, and kind of made me, like Daniela said, like makes you realize like the vision is whatever you want it to be. And once you realize, what you've defined as your vision, then you have to backtrack and really deal with what you actually believe in your head is possible, and and deal with those limiting beliefs. So coming into the mastermind for me has just been absolutely life-changing. I went from having so much confidence, earlier in my life, and as life moved along, losing that confidence, losing my voice, my authenticity, and through this program, and kind of bouncing between, accomplishing great things and then being pulled back to a place where, where I've lost, my confidence again, and in my abilities and in myself, and even in things like how much money I could make and things like that. It affected sort of all areas of life. So coming into this mastermind and really working on those issues, I have been, it's just like a weight is lifted off your shoulders. When you finally understand I am worthy of exactly what I have, what I want, what my soul needs, what will make me thrive, and I realized that I had sort of been, based on these codings from, a long time ago, I've been giving away that power, and I had been muscling through to, with this like very masculine energy to kind of get those things accomplished, but really being out of touch with what was like important for my spirit, important for my soul, and wanting to create a life that was authentic to what I actually want in life, and being able to define it and work towards it and believe it. And to have that understanding and those recodings that are like, oh no, I can do this and more. So I've actually gone back, based on the work we've done in this mastermind, and I have been revising my life book as I've gone along, because I was like, well, I wasn't thinking big enough for that one. And so it's just been like the biggest pleasure of my life, and like so incredibly valuable to be part of this. And then of course the community, like, meeting these, the lovely ladies I'm with right now has been just, and the rest of our group is just phenomenal. And, it's created lifelong friendships for sure. So I'm incredibly grateful.
Thank you, Becky. This was just beautiful. And one of the greatest thing that that I have seen working with you is being able to shift. And I think you touch on the male female energy. A lot of and I did that 100% when I was working in construction. Like I totally lost the feminine energy, and it was all about power through. And a lot of women in business do tend to be that way. But that actually affects your relationships later on in the outside world, and it just affects everything, the way you raise your children, everything. And being able to sort of have that power and more, but actually being back into your feminine energy, or the way that you choose, the energy that you choose, and actually seeing how powerful that can be, that it's and it just when you start working in the flow, it was, the last couple of sessions we just had so much fun, because Becky's like, no, not this girl, this girl. And I know I can do it now. So I'm just, I'm looking forward to to seeing it coming to fruition. So thank you, Becky. It's been an absolute pleasure having you.
Thanks.
Jose?
Yes, I'd love to share. Thank you. For me, the conscious understanding that I got through working in Lifebook and really getting clear on my categories and really deciding what that life vision that I wanted was, and being so excited to move forward. And moving forward, as I was saying before, that I could start, but then I would find myself going back. And so self-sabotaging in some of those areas that I really wanted to push past. So then when I became a part of the Quantum Mind Academy and learning about the quest and really going into that and really deciphering that for myself was so powerful. Just really seeing some of the masks that I was wearing, some of the things I was hiding, some of the ways I was manipulating that I wasn't even aware of was huge for me. And then being able to work with you one-on-one was just transformational. I think that there are so many things that were my blind spot that I couldn't really even see or understand how deep those were. Some really hard traumas that I went through in my life of losses of my sibling and just so many different things that affected me at such a deep level. Having you be able to clarify some of that and just really give me insight to that was really helpful. And then joining the mastermind where all of this recoding, you give us weekly things to do to really bring that into our lives. So it's not just a learned understanding and then we're off and we're dealing with life on our own. We actually get to live life with you and be able to ask you these questions and be able to be a part of a group that's going through the same journey together and really sharing this process and being accountable to one another, really focusing, really supporting one another, and then having those one-on-one time with you every month to be able to then say, okay, this is where I was last month, this is where I am this month, and this is where I want to go next month. And you know, what are the things that I'm coming against? And literally walking through that step by step has been phenomenal. So I just can't speak highly enough about your program and the mastermind and what it's done for my life. And really for me to be able to see the results that always were out of my reach, just like you were saying, kind of reaching out of kind of a cage and trying to grasp something that I just couldn't reach. I'd get close, so close, but it would just kind of slip back. So now actually seeing it in my life, and as you said, the how, it doesn't matter about the how. I got so clear of what it was that my soul wanted, what I was going after. And then I've just been amazed at how these results are coming forward. I can't even believe the ways in which one thing after another has been happening, that really it's been a lifelong goal and dream and desire. So that's just been so exciting to experience in my life and see. And then, you know, just to be able to share this with other people, because I feel like it was really the key that unlocked things for me. So grateful to have this opportunity to share with other people what it's meant and how much it's transformed my life.
Thank you, Joyce. That's I absolutely love working with you. You know, it's amazing. You know, from when we started to right now. I'll give you a perfect example, if I may, Joyce, if I may share that. This is in regards to you're actually moving a place and you had to go through lots of documents and lots of decluttering and things like that. And I was speaking to you and you told me I've got about 3 weeks work here, just absolutely slow down there with everything and you know, dealing with so many different things. You know, obviously you've got family, you know, children, and you had to, you know, work related things, and you're a little bit overwhelmed. And it's literally straight after the session, you committed that you're going to finish it within a week, and then you text me. Was it how many hours after that?
It was literally the next morning. I was trying to clear out a storage unit, a whole storage unit of stuff that I just felt like I would go in and I'd be sorting through boxes, and it just felt like it was going to take forever. And I actually listened, we did a session, I listened to the recoding overnight. The next morning I woke up, and part of it is really looking at what's the most creative way I can do it? What's the way that I could do it that'd be easy and fun? The next morning I woke up and I was just like, why am I going to take a week? I'm just going to do it today. Like something in me shifted, and I was able to think kind of outside the box. Somebody had told me I can come there a little and stay a little bit after hours. I made it happen. Literally, I moved that storage unit in one day, and really in 2 hours, something that had already taken me about 3 weeks just to sort through and make very little progress. There was just such a shift, and I just did it. So those kind of examples of something that I would not have imagined being able to be possible, somehow it's just your subconscious just shifts into it, and there is that ease, and there's this creativity and these ideas that kind of just seem to come out of nowhere. It was really incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a tiny little example. I obviously don't want to go into too many personal things that we talk about, but yeah, there's, I deal with clients that, get clarity on relationships, for example. Am I in the right relationship? And if I'm not, what do I do? Or how do I get my partner involved in something like this so they, we share this journey together? Some of our students, have dealt with massive health issues. Did you know that you can actually switch off pain like this, chronic pain? You literally speak to your subconscious mind, and subconscious mind is very, very logical. And if you figure out the logic behind everything and the way that subconscious mind communicates with you, and actually understand how it communicates and getting those messages, you can literally just instruct it. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. Tonight, I don't know what time it is where you are right now, but when you go to sleep, just before you go to sleep, just say to your subconscious mind, okay, all these things that are going through my mind right now, it's like, just imagine there being files. Just say, here are the files. I want you to go through it and come up with the best solution for me tomorrow morning. But right now, I need some sleep. Can you please switch me off? Just do that, okay? And you'll see exactly how you're going to get a beautiful, good night's sleep. This is the way that you can instruct your subconscious mind. But by, learning how to become the real king or the queen of your subconscious mind and how to control it, that becomes so powerful, becomes extremely powerful. But it starts with analysis. It starts with, okay, where am I at? Finding out exactly where you're at, and then figuring out, okay, how do I recode it? How do I change that? It all starts with subconscious mind. There's no 10 steps to this and 10 steps to that that's going to get you there, okay? All it's going to do is just motivate you to go and have another run against this elastic band. Deal with this elastic band first, okay, and then you can just achieve anything you want in your life. So hopefully, I'm hoping that this was very helpful for you. If you think that any of this has resonated with you, and you feel that it's something that would help you in your life, take me up on this offer. Like I normally don't do, even just normal catch-ups with clients who are not my students, but I've put 3 days aside. I promised the girls that I'll put 3 days aside. And if you click through my calendar, Daniela, if you want to just resend that link again into chat box. Yeah, take me up on the offer. I'll give you up to half an hour, and we can discuss exactly where you're at and how they could potentially help you. There's no student that I haven't been able to help, and I'm talking about people that have had massive health issues or any issues, because everything is just subconsciously coded. So if you want to have personalized chat, take me up on the alpha, come say hello. I'll go make my cup of coffee for the next few hours, and I'm here for you if you want to chat. And like I said, if you want to join us in a mastermind, we'll be kicking it off on the 16th, I believe, 16th of this month. And there's quite a bit of work that needs to be done beforehand. So this is really for people who are very, very committed. And by the way, part of it is actually a one-on-one session with me that goes for 2 to 3 hours, where I help you analyze everything, and I help you going through this process. So you learn how to do it, so you know how to fish, but then actually with the masterminds, I actually help you because the conversation that I have with you, I can literally see the codes like this. Any question that I'll ask you, it's relevant to the coding that you have. So I'm able to actually pick up all those codes and I'll do personalized coding for you. So it's really, really powerful. Anyway, I don't want to be talking about it for forever, but if this resonates with you, hop in. book a session, and I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you, Anna, so much. Thank you for your time joining us and for sharing your heart and your mission to recode 10,000 minds, and so grateful for each one of us that are here listening today. Thank you all for joining us. We're so happy to have this opportunity to share all of this with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon.
Okay, we'll see you next time, everyone.